pop this week. How good was that for him, and how big was that to get that sort of performance from your offensive line as a whole?
Yeah, I thought the line as a whole played well. Calvin had probably his best game in at least a while, maybe of the year. Kobe played really well, had one of his better games. But yeah, we needed that. We needed that. Obviously, protected Jalen better, but obviously a lot more successful in the run game.
And then you guys had Nolan out there at tight end at times, including on the big fourth down run that Leishon had. When did you guys start working on that, and were you pleased with the way that went?
Well, after we lost Carson, obviously we had to look. We're getting a little thin at the position, so try to look at all options, different personnel groupings. It's been. We've tinkered with other guys at different times. Enrique did it when Nolan was more rotated with the one. So it's been in our package quite a bit since we've been here. Just kind of pulled it back off, dusted it off, I guess. I venture to say we'll keep using it.
It looked like Mikey Polly was also warming up with the tight ends. You just went into that.
That's a good observation.
Yeah.
It's Mikey's been working at both positions probably at least a month now. He came to us and really admire what his attitude, his work ethic, and really the person that he is. And it's really refreshing when a guy comes and says, I think I can help this team in some way. Could I give it this could I look at this as an opportunity? And he's embraced the position of tight end. Obviously, getting a guy that's played quarterback his whole life, acclimated to blocking, and I would say it's almost like especially in the passing game, it's like a point guard all of a sudden having to go post up people. The game's opposite. You got to play with your back now to people. It's a little different, but he's done well, and he's a backup on a couple special teams units, and see where it takes us. Thought you liked the basketball reference with the opener too. That was for Daniel Burke.
Hey, Lance, you like a lot of teams, chasing down that 6th win late in the season. You guys have a lot of players who have been through that here the last couple of years. I know you guys do one game at a time and take care of what's in front of you and all that, but is there anything you can learn or that can be gained from having been in that position before in the past where you're chasing 6 wins late in the season like that?
It gets to be a talking point just like other things during the year. Get to be talking points that you guys all cover and write about, but again, it's still going out and preparing to win a football game each and every week, and they know what a 6th win will do, and we've got to do everything we can to try to make that happen this weekend against a really good football team on the road, and it's going to be a challenge. But the ones that have been here really understand and what we've continued to strive through here, and I think our newcomers understood what they were walking into and things like that. So again, it's not a daily talked about matter. So I just don't know what that does. We continue to stress preparation and everything that we do, and finding a way to get everything done without putting extra pressure on them.
In these last 3 weeks, is there one or two things that maybe you haven't seen as much as you'd like that you feel, okay, if we can tighten that up or deliver in that area or whatever it is, that gives us a real good chance?
Yeah, when you looked at last week's game, we had 2 penalties. I don't know the last time we had anything, the fewest amount of penalties since when, and we had a 3rd one that was declined, but not a lot of fouls called in the game period. But for us to play a game with 2 without any on offense is about as clean as I can remember of a team I've been a part of in a long time. Didn't turn the ball over, didn't punt, that's good. No, we didn't create any. I like to, again, as we continue to work and improve and do things better defensively. I'm sure DK will talk about that too. The next thing is we start making stops and progress, and we can get start creating turnovers again and doing those things. I think we had one, of course, with the targeting call that prevented one. We would have the ball there.
Since you mentioned the penalties, I guess I'll just ask. I don't think you guys have had an accepted defensive pass interference against you the whole year. But what do you make of that, and how do you interpret something like that when something that's usually a lot more common doesn't go against you guys?
We haven't had an accepted pass interference call.
No?
Is that right?
Yeah.
I was not aware of that. I don't know if that means that the ball's been caught while there's still been pass interference. I guess that'd be one thing that, if that's happened, that's usually what the case is, right? That if they would decline it, there's been a gain that goes through it. But I don't know if I have a real thought on that. I haven't given that much thought if it's been accepted or not, because like I say, in order to decline a penalty, you're declining it because you've got a bigger gain on top of it, I guess.
Okay.
Sorry, am I answering it correctly?
No, that's
Find out
fine.
what you wanted.
I wasn't sure what you would say. I just figured I'd mention it.
Plus, you caught me way off guard with something I haven't thought of. So
I don't know if that's a good thing on my part.
we could stay with Mikey Pauly moving the tight end.
I was just going to ask, first time having Arizona on the schedule, what have you seen from their program more broadly and this season specifically?
Yeah, that's also a good question. Is that we've, I think this will be the last. I think, we have Utah yet. We haven't played them. So to get, last year I talked about that we had those newer schools, the newer members of our conference, plus the people we didn't play the year before. There was a lot of newness in every week of what we were doing. To get Arizona to go to Tucson for the first time, I've always said it's always unique experiences and challenging ones to kind of see. Coach Brennan's done a great job in his second year of establishing his culture and expectations. You can see the improvement of their team, and again, that's a team that other than their trip to Ames, they probably feel they should be sitting maybe with one loss all year, double overtime to BYU, who's top of the conference, and then a walk-off field goal against Houston. So they've played good teams. They played well on the road, I think as we met with the guys today, they understand the challenge.
Lance, what have you kind of seen on tape when you've watched Arizona's QB?
He's really good, really accurate. Even as they were joining the league and things, I know there was talk when their coach Fish moved to Washington, whether or not he was going to stay or not, and how talented he was. Obviously, gets the ball out quickly, very mobile, extends plays when he has to. The accuracy part is what's really impressive, and now that they've kind of gotten a little better rhythm on things, you can see that they're clicking pretty well, and did it in Boulder Saturday night. So he's up there with the top in the league without a doubt with what and they use him really well, and the receiving core, like I said, there's a mixture of size and speed and quickness too. Not just guys that can run by people, guys that can make people miss after the catch and then accelerate, and that's impressive.
I'm curious, I know Brennan spent a lot of his time on the West Coast, but do you have much of a relationship with him, or what did you kind of know about him?
Not really. Rob Ianello does. When Rob coached at Arizona, Brent was a grad assistant for him back in the day. Coach traveled with the Arizona basketball team here last March, I think it was, early March, I think the game was. Had a chance to visit with them a little bit there and then at our meetings, but I'll really respect him, really enjoyed the conversation, and a little bit I've gotten to know him.
I'm curious defensively, you guys have used a lot of the 3 or 5 man fronts. How do you weigh using those and being versatile with that to what you guys have done recruiting wise to the
it's a balance, and it's evolving, and we've kind of mixed and matched, and as we continue to look for different body types, and you're probably referencing a guy like Dean Miller, who's more of a hand in the ground end, who's probably dropped a little bit more than he has in the past. But the guys up front, what we're doing is really what most of the country's doing now, and they're using some 3-man, 3-down stuff, and 4 down, mixing it in, trying to match personnel, doing different things. And again, as we continue to look at scholarship numbers, scholarship allotments, all those things will continue to evolve because, as you're saying, there's times we got 3 D tackles in the game, so you need depth there. But then we also play with 5 defensive backs and a nickel, so you need depth there. And we've already modified some of our linebacker numbers and what we're doing, but those are things that we're still assessing. I did better on that one than the pass interference call.
You got a couple coming up in a row here with the bye week in between. How have you felt about your team on the road this year? The way you prepared, traveled, executed, played, all those things.
Well, it's only been 3, and 2 of them are against top 20 teams in the country. So, I think again, as we've looked at it, I said it to you all Saturday. Winning in period is hard, okay, and winning on the road is even harder. So, trying to get your team focused and. Again, I think we've been consistent trying to put together travel plans, whether we change time zones or not, routines, all the things that you have to do. Just about the time now the weather's changing here, it's going to be warm there again. So you've got to make sure hydration and other things are important there. So I think we do a good intentional plan on what we try to do to get our team ready and go play in environments and to go play at a place we haven't before, not exactly sure what, factors are there, crowd-wise, noise-wise, all the different things. But again, anytime you gotta go on the road, you gotta band together and go out and play your best football possible.
You'd mentioned possibly appealing Saeed's targeting call.
Yeah, we're not going to.
Had you appealed any others earlier this season?
Yeah. They didn't work. we appealed one. We appealed Benghalis. So, I don't know. Like I said, you see stuff, you see replays. Be careful. But you see the one in the Ohio State-Penn State game, and it's not target. I don't know anymore. I don't understand it. And I understand, though. The one thing I do understand, to make sure I'm clear, is it's still about safety of the player. And that being said, we've got to make sure that we have good target areas. We're doing things we want. The one about Saeed's that we first saw, he kept his, looked to us that his face was up as much as possible and things like that, so.
Hey, Lance, I was looking at some of the numbers of Arizona's defense, and they've gone from like 105th to 15th this year, and is that easier to do with the portal now? Can you make that quicker, and what have you seen them from defense?
Yeah, they're impressive defensively, how they run around, schematically, they're unique in a few things that they're doing. They're coming at you. They play downhill. Anytime you can, again, year 2 of a program, getting things kind of situated the way they want to do it, call it, and all those things can be a factor of what you're saying. But obviously, your gains can be made in the portal. Yeah.
Anything else from Coach Leipold?
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.